brown-haired boy called Noir wakes up in his bed. After graduating from school, he decided to become a librarian. Unfortunately, on the day when he was supposed to start working, his father tells him the son of a higher-ranked noble took his job. Since Noir's family is of the lowest possible nobility, the higher nobles push them around all the time. Noir's father is a coward, but his sister, a black-haired girl called Alice, suggests that Noir enrolls in the Hero Academy. After graduating from there, he can become a monster hunter or a royal knight. Later, walking through town, Noir meets with his childhood friend, a blonde girl called Emma. Even though she is of a higher status than him, their families are friends. Expecting to work as a librarian with Noir, she is disappointed when she hears he can't work there. Noir has a rare skill called the Great Sage skill. It enables him to ask a great sage everything about the world. However, after he uses it, he always gets a horrible headache. Asking the Great Sage about a way to pass the entrance exam for the Hero Academy, Noir finds out he can explore a hidden dungeon and get stronger there. After preparing himself, Noir finds the hidden dungeon. Chanting a spell he found out from the Great Sage, he goes through a massive iron door. He explores the dungeon until he hears a female voice in his head. Following the voice's instructions, he finds a room with a blue-haired girl chained inside. She tells him she is an adventurer called Olivia who was trapped in the dungeon for 200 years. If someone breaks her chains, she will die, so Noir can help her. Since she can't leave, she called him here so she has someone to talk to. When Noir tells her about his situation, she transfers all his skills to him because she can't use them anyway. With Olivia's skills, Noir can create any skill he can think of, give others the skills he created, and change skills and beings around him. However, the more powerful the skill he creates is, the more his life points decrease. He could get his life points back by doing something that makes him happy, such as eating delicious food and getting things he wants. Testing out his new ability, Noir defeats a slime by creating stone bullets from the dust in the air. After he uses his skill, he loses 50 life points and gets tired. In order to pass the hero exam, Olivia teaches him that he can create a skill called Discerning Eye that enables him to know all information about any creature or object. At the day of the entrance exam, Noir arrives at the academy. The exam is a group task where a team has to collect rare materials from monsters and bring them to the examiner. Noir asks around for teammates, but most of them avoid him because he is from a low class. Suddenly, Emma appears, having quit her librarian job and decided to take the hero exam together with Noir. When the exam starts, Noir decides to go to the third floor of the hidden dungeon alone and fight monsters there. However, he didn't expect to encounter a dangerous high-level Grim Reaper. Evading his deadly scythe, Noir gives the Reaper a skill that slows him down. Creating a huge stone bullet, Noir launches it at the Reaper and defeats it. When Noir brings the Grim Reaper's skull as his team's rare material, his team gets first place and both him and Emma pass the exam. Noir is happy he passed, but when he notices the enrollment fee into the Hero Academy, it turns out to be too high for his poor family. He decides to earn the money himself by becoming an adventurer. Arriving at the Adventurers Guild, Noir registers there with the help of a receptionist called Lola. Seeing Noir's skills, Lola notices they are similar to Olivia's skills, who used to be a member of the guild too. She gets surprised when Noir tells her he's Olivia's successor. Lola gives Noir a quest to find rare bugs called rainbow grasshoppers. Noir gives himself a skill that weakens the headaches he gets from calling for the Great Sage. Heading out into the grasshopper's habitat, Noir asks the Great Sage to tell him where the grasshoppers are. Suddenly, Emma appears angry because Noir didn't take her with him because they made a promise to be together forever. When they catch enough grasshoppers, they return to the guild, completing their first quest. Lola immediately gives them another quest, so they head out again. Venturing out into a forest, Noir and Emma head search for a rabbit monster they need to defeat, but unexpectedly get attacked by goblins. Suddenly, a gigantic rabbit appears, driving the goblins away. Emma decides she wants to beat the monster herself and manages to evade all of its attacks graciously. She attacks it with daggers and wind-based spells, but the rabbit manages to get her to lose balance. He almost manages to hit Emma, but Noir saves her with a giant stone bullet. They hide from the rabbit and Emma is depressed, thinking she's weak. Using the lot of life points, Noir makes Emma skilled using daggers stronger. The rabbit returns, trying to attack Noir, but Emma, now stronger, manages to defeat it. That night, they return to the Adventurers Guild. Having stored the rabbit's body in a pocket dimension, Noir takes it out and shares his meat with everyone in the guild. As he eats, Noir's life points increase because of the meat's deliciousness. Now that he has completed the 2 quests, the rewards are enough for him to finally enroll into the Hero Academy. On their first day at Hero Academy, Noir and Emma come across a high-ranking noble's daughter called Maria. Using one of his skills, Noir notices there's a curse on her that will cause her to die on her 16th birthday. At the academy, the higher-ranked students in Noir's class immediately start bullying Noir because of his low rank. Meanwhile, Emma is popular amongst them and everyone crowds around her. Maria, together with her attendant called Amain, enters the classroom and starts happily talking to Noir and Emma. Surprised that a high noble is talking to him, the students change their attitudes towards Noir, but he ignores them. Later, a teacher called Elna teaches the students self-defense outside. Picking Noir among the students, she challenges him to attack her. Noir looks at her with his discerning eye and sees she is incredibly strong. Since he is no match for her, he upgrades his dodge skill and manages to evade her, impressing everyone. The next exercise is done in pairs and Maria offers to be Nora's partner. They start practicing, but Maria soon faints, growing weaker because of her curse. Noir wants to help her remove the curse, but the life point cost is too high for him right now. Later, at the Adventurers Guild, Noir and Emma ask Lola what they could do about Maria's curse. Lola tells them her friend, a cleric called Luna, can help them. The next day, Noir meets up with Emma in town and they wait for Lola and Luna, who is a pink-haired elf girl. At a restaurant, Noir tells Luna about Maria's curse. Luna says she was already asked to cure that curse in the past but had to decline even though she can usually lift curses. Looking at her with his discerning eye, Noir sees that removing curses reduces Luna's lifespan in proportion to the strength of the curse. It seems like Maria's curse is so powerful that Luna would die if she tried curing it. Talking to Luna in private, Noir tells her he knows about her secret. Since Luna wants to save people like her mother did, she decides to try removing Maria's curse anyway. When accident happens on a construction site, Luna heads there. She heals an injured child by shooting healing magic with guns. Afterwards, she remembers that she said she wants to remove Maria's curse and suddenly gets terrified of dying. Noir realizes he could change Lumina's skill so it takes her money instead of her lifespan. However, to do that, he needs more life points. Lola says she knows about competition where nobles rate people's harems. She thinks that winning that event may make Noir happy and getting more life points. Arriving at the arena where the event is held, Noir joins it with the 3 girls as his harem. The host and the audience make fun of people's harems until Noir's harem appears. Noir's girls come out and the audience is impressed for each one of them. They win the first contest, but there is still a second challenge in which the girls have to show their love for Noir is real. There are 3 scenarios they have to pass in order to win, and in each of them, they take care of Noir and show that they're the best harem. Jealous of Noir, the host gives them a big money prize and chases them out. Satisfied with winning the contest, Noir successfully increases his life points. Later, Noir and the girls visit Maria's palace. Ever since she was little, Maria knew she would die when she reached 16 years. The curse was cast by a sorcerer who was defeated by Maria's ancestor. Amain brings Noir and Luna into Maria's room. After Noir changes Luna's skill to take her money instead of her lifespan, Luna begins removing Maria's curse. After her struggle, she finally succeeds, losing all the money they got from the harem competition. Maria starts feeling better immediately and Noir uses his discerning eye to see that the curse is really gone. Maria thanks both Noir and Luna, who was relieved she managed to save Marie after all. Noir and his friends receive a large reward of gold coins for helping Maria. They divide the coins amongst themselves and parts ways. Returning home, Noir surprises his family with a huge amount of money. He decides to open an item shop with rare materials together with his family. Noir visits the hidden dungeon to explore it and find some rare materials. Visiting Olivia, she tells him to create a dungeon elevator skill that lets him travel between the dungeon floors he has been in already. She also tells him to create a skill that blinds enemies. Descending to the 5th floor of the dungeon, he sees dead monsters on the ground. A huge black lion appears behind him, but he can't see any information about it using his discerning eye. He blinds it with his new skill and the lion suddenly starts talking, saying he doesn't intend to attack him. The lion called Tiger Son tells Noir he will take him to the 6th floor if he finds someone for him. Noir agrees to help him and they head towards the 6th floor, encountering monsters which Tiger Son defeats easily. Tiger Son wants to find his elf friend called Vashel who disappeared at the 6th floor. Tiger Son promised to wait for him on the 5th floor and has been waiting for 350 years. In order to keep the promise, Tiger's son takes Noir in front of the 6th floor and tells him to search for Vashel. The 6th floor is pitch black, so Noir gives himself a night vision skill. From the darkness, high-level zombies start to emerge and Noir manages to escape from them. Entering another room, he sees another zombie, but this one has clothes on. Using his discerning eye, he sees the zombie has a lot of skills and realizes he is actually Vashel, Tiger Son's friend. Noir successfully turns Vashel back into a human, modifying his zombification skill, and they get to know each other. Tiger Son saved Vashel in the past and Vashel became his first and only friend. They started traveling together until they arrived at the hidden dungeon where Vashel wanted to find a treasure for his beloved but got zombified. Noir takes Vashel to Tiger Son and they have a happy reunion. Vashel wants to give up on exploring the dungeon and return to his beloved because only elves are allowed into his homeland. Vashel and Tiger Son have to part ways. Vashel regrets making Tiger Son and wait 350 years and apologizes, but Tiger Son tells him he didn't regret waiting for him. Vashel promises Tiger Son and they will meet again and leaves for his homeland, but Tiger Son returns to the dungeon saying he has some unfinished business. Curious, Noir follows Tiger Son and finds him crying over his friend. Noir says he knows how it feels and asks Tiger Son to be his friend. He asks him if he wants to come live in his house and Tiger Son agrees saying he will become the house's guard lion. When they return to Noir's house, Noir's family is surprised by Tiger Son but accept him as part of the family. One day, Emma and Noir have their first exam at the Hero Academy. For the next 2 weeks, he allowed to gather a lizard mantail, a dragon fawn and a unicorn horn which are all rare. After class, Noir and Emma head to the Adventurers Guild to ask Lola for advice, but there is a commotion in the guild. Lola is arguing with another guild receptionist called Sarah who keeps stealing her adventurers and lowering her quota. Lola thinks Sarah seduces adventurers to switch to her as their receptionist, but she doesn't have any proof. Sarah challenges Lola to a contest to see who will have the biggest quota in a month. If she loses, she won't take any of Lola's adventurers ever again, but if she wins, she will take Noir, one of the most successful adventurers in the guild. In order to raise Lola's quota, Noir and Emma tell Lola to give them high-level quests. Luna joins them too since she is both a cleric and an adventurer. Completing high-level quests, Noir and the others manage to get every material they need for the exam except a dragon fawn. Luna heard a rumor about an earth dragon in the mountains. In order to defeat the dragon, they bought spears and Noir gave all 3 of them the Dragon Slayer skill. Sometime later, Tiger Son takes the 3 of them to Treasure Mountain, where the dragon resides. Asking the Great Sage, Noir finds out the dragon's exact location. Noir, Emma and Lunar dig a pit for it to fall into and Noir heads to the dragon's cave. At the cave, Noir wakes the dragon up and lures him towards the pitfall. When the dragon falls into the pit, Noir, Emma and Lunar attack it with spears. They struggle until Lunar stabs its neck, successfully killing it. The next day at the Hero Academy, they turn in the materials they needed for the exam. Afterwards, they visit the Adventurers Guild and give the rest of the rare materials to Lola. Sarah's quota turns out to be higher than Lola's, but there is still half a month left before the contest ends. Sarah has completely seduced her adventurers to do whatever she wants and she is exploiting them so much that they are overworked. Noir visits Olivia, asking her for advice. She tells him to visit the 7th floor of the hidden dungeon, where there is valuable treasure. She also tells him to create elemental spells and a magic fusion skill that lets him combine them. At the 6th floor, Noir combines his stone bullets with a flame spell and easily defeats all the zombies there. Finally reaching the 7th floor, he enters the lush forest. He notices a pack of high-level wolves and hides from them until a small green-haired girl stops him, explaining she's a dryad, a spirit of a great tree. She begs Noir to help her and he accepts. The dryad's true body is the tree and it is attacked by a monster and she wants Nora to defeat it. In exchange, she will give him some treasure and show him how to get to the 8th floor of the dungeon. The dryad takes Noir to her tree where he sees that a golden bee monster is attacking it. With his discerning eye, Noir sees the bee as incredibly high level and that it would kill him in one hit. Seeing that the dryad is in pain and her tree is falling apart, he makes up his mind to help her after all. Finding the golden bee's nest, he puts a skill on the bee that makes it easily targeted by enemies. He finds the high-level wolves he saw before and provokes them to run after him. Reaching the dryad's tree, he sees the bee has attacked it once again and that the dryad herself is laying on the floor, lifelessly. Flying into a rage, Noir attacks the golden bee but is no match for it. When the wolves arrive, Noir modifies his target skill on the bee, making the wolves think the bee is their natural enemy. All the wolves attack the bee, but the bee manages to kill them all. Noir combines his water and lightning skill to form a bullet of electrified seawater. He shoots it at the bee, weakened from the wolves' attacks, and manages to kill it. The dryad wakes up and later takes Noir to the treasure she promised him. She then gives him a green bean that strengthens wind spells, an incredibly valuable and rare item. Noir is overjoyed and thanks the dryad. The dryad is sad that he is leaving, but he promises he will visit her again. At the day of Lola's battle against Sarah, Lola's adventurer quota turns out to be higher than Sarah and she finally wins against her. Sometime later, Noir gives Emma the bean that strengthens wind magic and she eats it. Nora can see that she gained 2 powerful new skills from it and she feels more powerful. Emma invites Noir to a dance party for nobles and he reluctantly agrees. Back home, Noir's father tells Noir he still can't find a location for their item shop because they are low-ranked nobles. Noir tells him not to worry about it and keep looking. At the night of the party, Noir meets with Emma. The party's host, who is Emma's father, appears and tells everyone he has received a warning from a phantom thief. The thief wants to steal a jewel called Mermaid's Tear that night, but Born hired adventurers from the kingdom's greatest guild, Lamo, to guard it. When the party begins, a noble called Mike asks Noir to compete who can dance with Emma better. Noir accepts, thinking he can't take watching Emma enjoy a conversation with someone other than him. Mike dances with Emma first and there is a big applause. Next, it's Noir's turn, so he creates the dancing skill for himself. He dances with Emma gracefully and gets a huge applause too. As soon as Noir's dance is over, the lights go out and the phantom thief appears. It turns out she doesn't only want to steal a jewel but also Emma because she is the host's daughter. Emma's father orders the adventurers from Lama to fight the thief, but the thief evades them. She seals Emma in front of Noir's eyes and kicks Noir away. The lights come back on and another phantom thief suddenly arrives and steals the Mermaid's Tear. Both of the thieves jump through the window and the adventurers go after them with Noir joining them. One of the adventurers, and martial artist girl called Layla, runs with Noir after the phantom thief who stole Emma. The thief summons a firebird that breathes fire at Layla. While the thief herself attacks Noir with a dagger and while Layla fights the bird with her magic reinforced fists, Noir fights against the phantom thief, finding out she is weak to lightning spells. Seeing Layla is having trouble, Noir makes the bird heavier and unable to fly anymore. Layla tries attacking the bird, but the thief doesn't let her. Noir attacks the thief for the combination of water and lightning and defeats her, enabling Layla to defeat the firebird using her fists. The adventurer's leader approaches them saying he has beaten the other phantom thief, but Noir notices he is acting strangely. He uses discerning eye to find out the man's name and skills are unknown. Suddenly, a man attacks Noir and Layla and makes them unable to get up using a gravity manipulation skill. The man reveals himself to be other phantom thief called Tom. He wants to make Emma his wife, having seen her in town before. Hearing that, Noir struggles against the strong gravity and somehow manages to get up. While Tom is focused on Noir, Emma wakes up and blows Tom away with a wind spell. Noir hits the thief in the face, breaking his gravity spell and defeating him. Back at the party hall, Emma's father thanks Noir for saving his daughter. As thanks, he helps Noir find a location for his family's shop at a cheap price. A few days later, Layla joins Noir's class at the Hero Academy as a transfer student. The teacher tells them they are going to go to a training camp at Hot Springs Resort. At the day of the training camp, Noir and his classmates start their trip to the hot springs. At sunset, they arrive at a mountain full of traps and monsters. A small flying pixie approaches them, telling them she's not a threat. Remembering pixies usually trick humans, Noir looks at the pixie skills and sees she has a skill to control monsters. The pixie shows the students a shortcut through a cave, but Noir is suspicious of her. When Noir tells her he knows she can control monsters, the pixie drops her act and calls forth a group of lizardmen. She orders them to attack the students, but the students fight the lizardmen off bravely, using various weapons and magic. Exiting the cave, the students see the hot springs resort in the distance. They enter it and the boys led by a boy named Hurth decide to peep on the girls while they're bathing. However, Noir is against it, but the boys don't care and start running towards the girls' bath. Their teacher, Elna, stops them with an earthen wall spell. Together with Elna, Noir stops most of the boys using earthen and stone bullets, but Hurth doesn't bother. He fights Elna, turning out to be pretty strong. He unleashes his full power, having collected lots of magic potions and items to make himself more muscular. Noir tries wrestling with him, but Hurth overpowers him. Noir then gives Hurth a skill that makes him powerless and defeats him easily. Suddenly, another boy gets up and starts running towards the girls' bath. Noir runs after him and they both end up falling into the bath. It turns out the girls didn't go into the bath after all because Elna told them what the boys were planning. With the boys locked up in their room, the girls peacefully have their bath. One day, Noir and his family finally get ready to open their rare item shop. Emma, Lunar and Lola help them set everything up. Opening the shop to the public, plenty of customers arrive immediately. Later, Noir visits Olivia, remembering how much she has helped him since he met her. He promises to free her from the dungeon and see her smile. He asks the great sage how he can free Olivia and he tells him the answer can be found on the 15th floor of the dungeon. Noir climbs the 14th floor and finds himself at a crossroads. One path is for people who come alone and the other is for people who weren't alone. Taking the first path, he enters a room with a narrow path with spikes underneath it. Realizing the task is too hard for him right now, he quits. Sometime later, Noir takes Emma to the dungeon after she tells him she wants to help him. Taking it for people who aren't alone, they enter an empty room. Suddenly, the door locks and goblins start coming in. The goblins tell him to drop their weapons and give them some food, so they do as the goblins say. Noir takes out some cookies and gives them to the goblins. When they ask him for more cookies, Noir secretly poisons the cookies using his skill. The goblins eat them greedily and every single one of them collapses on the ground, enabling Noir and Emma to advance. Finally reaching the 15th floor, Noir and Emma find a girl who looks exactly the same as Olivia chained to the room. She doesn't respond to them and Noir uses his discerning eye to find out she is actually a copy of Olivia made by the magical chains that bind the real Olivia. She even has all of Olivia's skills. Emma frees the fake Olivia and she starts acting just like the real Olivia would. Noir tells her she isn't fooling him and the fake Olivia changes her demeanor, saying she wants to fight him to test for strength. Noir and Emma attack the fake Olivia, but she blocks the attacks and retaliates with her own powerful spells. Before the fake Olivia can defeat them, Noir teleports himself and Emma back to the second floor where the real Olivia is. Emma asks Olivia if she has any weaknesses they can use against the fake Olivia, but Olivia isn't sure. She tells Noir he doesn't have to work so hard for him, but Noir says she has done so much for him and he wants to help her. The next day, Noir finds some information about Olivia in a history book. He reads about a cleric woman who was able to threaten Olivia by using the sacrifice skill. It's a skill that sacrifices other skills to power up the user. Noir creates the skill for himself. Leaving the library, he suddenly encounters the fake Olivia. She came after him because she wants to defeat him. Sacrificing 3 of his skills, Noir activates the sacrifice skill and powers himself up. Confident, he starts attacking the fake Olivia, but she stops him with one electrified sword slash. 200 years ago, Olivia met a boy resembling Noir. He asked her to be his master, but she declined no matter how much he begged. During the entire day, the boy followed her around, asking her to be his master. Finally, she asked him why he is so stubborn and he told her he promised his deceased friend that he will become the best adventurer in the world. Hear this, Olivia challenged him to try attacking her. If he could give her a scratch, she would become his master. However, he turned out to be a complete amateur and Olivia told him he should quit being an adventurer. Not listening to her, the boy kept following her day after day, asking her for advice. One day, Olivia found out the boy has been killed by a monster while he was protecting a girl from it. Olivia realizes she should have become his master and taught him properly, so something like this wouldn't happen. Afterwards, she got trapped in the hidden dungeon and Noir found her. She decided to give him her skills and teach him how to use them so he doesn't end up like the boy who died. Now she is worried for Noir's life while he's fighting her clone. Wounded by the fake Olivia, the effects of Noir's sacrifice skills have disappeared. When the fake Olivia prepares to kill Noir, Emma suddenly appears and saves him. Lola, Luna, and Layla join her, having come to help Noir. Joining forces, the girls attack the fake Olivia, but it's still not enough. The fake Olivia manages to knock down Emma and Lola. Noir turns the fake Olivia's electrified sword into a regular one, weakening her attacks. Using a magic-infused punch, Layla breaks Olivia's sword. Olivia then proves he doesn't need the sword and attacks Layla the fire spell, defeating her. Suddenly, Luna also falls down because Olivia raised her body temperature using a skill. The fake Olivia gives Noir the chance to run away, but he doesn't quit, wanting to save the real Olivia. He sacrifices all of his skills except the one that allows him to create new skills and powers up. Attacking the fake Olivia in a frenzy, Noir manages to hit her, but she makes her skin hard at the moment of impact. Getting angry, Olivia starts punching Noir and prepares to kill him with a fire spell while he's on the floor. She launches the spell, but Noir charges at it and cuts in half. With his sword on fire, she gets the fake Olivia directly in her head and defeats her, turning her back into a mass of chains. Later, Noir visits the hidden dungeon again, finding Olivia outside it, free of the chains. Finally meeting in person, they are thankful to each other. As their lives return to normal at Noir's shop, the business is thriving and Noir and his friends continue their education at the Hero Academy. Olivia continues mentoring Noir while he does his best to advance through the dungeon and get stronger. That's all for today, and if you enjoyed watching the video, consider liking and subscribing for more like it. Thanks for watching.